All right, part 2 of the Waco Phoenix model 60cc, 90-inch wingspan. I think that's what the 90 stands for. 90 inches in millimeters is 2,600 millimeters. Is that right? Here, I'll tell you right here. Oh my god, I was so close. 90 inches is 2,300 millimeters. I'm getting better at this. Length, 37 inches long. Flying weight, 12 to 13 kilograms. I have no idea. Wing area, wing loading, wing type, Naka airfoils, spinner size 95 millimeter, 8 channel, servo, 6 servos, high torque servos, 2 aileron, 2 elevator, 1 rudder, 1 throttle. Recommended receiver battery, 6 volt, nickel metal hydride. No, absolutely not. That's going to be a life battery. And there's going to be 2, one for the motor, one for the servos and receiver. Propeller, suit with your engine. Engine 50 to 61cc, gas engine, 2-stroke. I'm doing 4-stroke, 60cc. Not included. Motor, if you want to do an electric motor, 6,500 watts, 230 kilovolts. Experience level, intermediate. Okay. Type of plane, biplane. If you didn't know that when you were buying it, I'm gonna read word for word. Just kidding. No, the fuck I'm not. Instruction manual, successful radio equipment. Step 1. Important notes. Apply epoxy glue or CA glue to the fiberglass firewall plate. And then gray paint. Why would I do that? Why would I do gray and hide that beautiful carbon fiber? No flaps. I guess not, right? Does biplanes have flaps? Does the ailerons have those type of... Oh, that's for the control horn. Okay. Instruction manual. Preparations. Iron your coverings. Then we're going to be doing aileron flaps first. Yes, sir. Wings, push rods, 90 millimeter push rod. Where were the little push rods? Those I did not see. Not in there. Gotta be in that one bag. Then the landing gear. Oh, that was another thing that I wanted to look at. So in the Stinson landing gear, goes on the same. You have to cut out the notches for it right here. You have 2 holes here, 2 holes here, and then there's a notch right there. Strap goes in that way, and it bolts into the blind nuts. As you can see inside here, there's blind nuts underneath this bracket. Now, since this is carbon fiber wrapped, it should be pretty strong, right? Strong, but still brittle. So there's no way to get to it from the inside here unless I cut that apart. I'm just really worried that I'm gonna rip the gear out of this thing, but I guess we'll cross that bridge if I get to it. Because what I did on the Stinson is I cut out, so here's the 4 holes where your screws go through to bolt the struts down. I cut this whole piece out, and then I glassed in I didn't glass. Yeah, I did put a couple sheets of fiberglass down. Put a couple sheets of fiberglass down, and some West Systems epoxy fiberglass resin, and just kind of beefed up this area. I'm not gonna do it on this one because everything's put together with carbon fiber, so I think we'll be okay. I think. So I got 4 wings to build. Don't have the servos yet, but at least I can do all the hinges, and that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna put everything in a safe place, which is up there. Everything's gonna go in a safe place, and then I'm just gonna have the wings on the table, and everything else is gonna be away. So we'll do that. Only safe place is up here. Put Josh down there. Up here. Little monkey come down a shelf. And take this. Put that up there and it's flat. What's plugging into a cockpit from another airplane. And we'll take a bubble wrap the fuselage back up. We're not going to be digging with the fuselage for a while, so we're going to put her safe, and that's why I cut the fuselage bubble wrap the way I did. So if you go right back in, right back in, and be nice and safe. Stretch it back over the bow. I only got service company, so everything is nautical in my life. Bow, stern, port, starboard. Of course, there's port and starboard on airplanes too. Oh. Look at that. Nice and safe. Nice and safe. I'll do the rudder later. Take these guys. There we go. Oh, I didn't put the pilots back in the fuselage. Dipshit. Okay. I'm gonna put the decals over here as well. Safe. Safe, safe, safe. push rods and everything right here. Spin it. Go back. Man, Phoenix makes some really nice stuff, dude. Really nice stuff. This is the bag that we need. Don't need any of this. Don't need any of that. It wants us to put this on as well. It's got to be epoxy. So, put all that back in there. Put that off to the side. I dropped these push rods we don't need. Rods and green tubes. Go up here as well. Should be okay. Alright. Flip back to page number. Important notes. Apply epoxy glue or CA glue. Fiberglass plate, epoxy glue or CA glue, gray paint. That's the best way to go on the fuse firewall. Aileron hinges. Okay. It's a 12-minute video already. I'm gonna go get my supplies. I'll be right back. I'm back. Zap. Medium CA. CA kicker. X-Acto knife, Phillips head screwdriver, Kershaw pocket knife with the easy assist. Not legal in all states. Alright, so what wing does it want us to do? It doesn't matter. We're gonna do this one. It's on the top of the pile. So bring it from this side. So we have something to put the wings back into, especially for transporting, going to the airfield and back. I need to buy wing bags for this plane. 2 wing bags. And but until I do, as long as you open these up the right way, you can slide them in and out of the thing. And guess what? You got yourself a wing bag. We'll just mark a T. We'll put T, so this is the top of the bag, and then it'll be, hey, there's pencil marks. It'll be T, T, S, top, starboard, bottom, starboard. Well, we'll just write that on the top of the bag so we know that will go on the top of the wing. So it'll be BS. And S and BS. They want you to iron the coverings first, but we'll do all the ironing later. After the plane's built, we'll go over the whole plane with an iron to take all the creases out and stuff. and shrink everything up. It doesn't tell you what heat to put the iron on. Use a covering iron with a covering sock on high heat to tighten the covering if necessary. Apply pressure over sheeted areas to thoroughly bond the covering to the wood. Sure. Sure thing, man. Okay, so just like I said before, like this doll. Push everybody back. Okay, we're going to do this. Put the instructions off to the side. Tool is going out in front of us. Glue mat. Glue mat. Glue mat. God, you're stupid. Alright, so now nice little servo door there, warped. Wait a minute. Nope. Okay, I was gonna say, are these hinges glued already? Work your hinges off nice and easy. One side at a time. Woof. Giggity, giggity. There's loose stuff in there. Whoa, they're already glued into the plane. I hope not, because they didn't glue them in. No, they're not glued in. Okay, thank God. Holes are very tight though. Alright. We're going to be using epoxy for these hinges. Now, we'll say this. Face the screws on your hinges. You see there's a screw head. And that's the other side of the screw goes through. This is the screw head though. Face it towards the outside. Because if for some reason you have a hinge that fails or whatever and you need to take that aileron off, it's going to be really hard to do if you can't get to the screw. You're going to have to cut the aileron off. Or you can get a screw in there and unscrew it. Screwdriver. Alright, so. Well, it only goes on one way, so you can't screw that up. Now the wing part. Wants us to leave that bit there. If that's the bottom, the aileron is coming out that side and it sticks down, so we want to leave that side up. Okay, let's do that. So this side keeps the wood there. Okay. This is always the unnerving part. Stabbing. Dull blade. Don't like that. Change the blade. Looks like a new blade. We're gonna find out. What are you crying about? Say you have to go outside go potty? Okay. Outside? Outside go potty? Good girl. Outside. Alright, so I'm cutting out the bit. Now, the horn is going to sit flat against this back wall in there. I'm cutting out the covering. This is the bottom. The horn's going to be sticking out the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the top, right? But I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. I'll cut this down flat with the bottom of the thing right there and right there. Then cut that piece out. Sucks. Let me grab a hinge. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here they are. I don't know why there's only two. And there should be. There's a hinge for this and a hinge for that. There's no hinge. Oh no, we're just gonna use those. Okay, so we have our hinge. This is the bottom. Your hinge is gonna sit in there like that. You see where the bottom of this hinge comes to an end right there? You want that to be flat with the bottom of the wing. So you put it on like that. But I made a mistake last time. And see how I cut deep down into here? But here I left a little bit of material. So the hinge can go up and rest against that material. But also, when you look at it from the top, it looks better. It looks a lot better. So, now that that's in there, this is the bag that it came out of. So I suppose those are the screws it wants me to use. 3 by 15 millimeter. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's them. So this part's a little time consuming. And I don't use, let's make sure we're doing this the right way. Servo's coming out the bottom. This is coming out the bottom. Aileron false this way. CA glue. And it pokes out the bottom. Okay. So we're doing it the right way. I'm going to CA this thing down. Whoa, that's a big hole. Well, and it's a big drop. Don't need a whole lot. Put a drop on each corner. Get it down in there. It's at the bottom of the thing. That's where it wants to go. I'm gonna give it just a little spritz of the kicker. Just a tiny bit. Now that'll stay in place while we put our screw in. Should drill a pilot hole. Should drill a pilot hole. Get your screw working here. Screw that good. Good and tight. I'm gonna need a drill because we're gonna do a pilot hole. That was too hard. Okay. Back in action. make things easier on yourself, because if you're forcing these things, you're only gonna do damage. You're only gonna do damage. It's gonna go bad. Here we go. One hinge done. Repeat the process to the other lower wing. Ooh. Uh-oh. That's the low wing that has the... Yes, okay. Woof. Thank goodness. Almost fucked up. The lower wing is the one that gets the hinge, because the lower wing is controlled by the servo, and there's a push rod to the top wing. So make sure that you do this to the lower wing, not the top one. Oh my god. Alright, moving right along. That's done. We can now come to the wing now, and on the servo side where your door is, you're gonna feel there's an indent right here. You're gonna cut that whole piece out. So give it a feel, because it's gonna be covered. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be covered by that servo shroud thingy. Now, I saw a guy do this with a he did this with a soldering iron to cut your thing, because it melts it. So I'm gonna try that with a butane one. I've gone in my bedroom too many times and I'm waking my wife up. I'm gonna try it with my butane one. I'm just gonna go around the edges after I've cut the vinyl or the covering off. So now that you've cut a giant hole in your wing, take your soldering gun and just follow the edges of that hole. It heats up and shrinks away the excess material. So let's get a soldering gun. I've got this really cool electric one, which we'll dig with in a little bit, but for now, that seems to be working. Oh yeah. So we'll let that heat up. I gotta get some CA. I mean some epoxy. I was using the 30-minute stuff. Alright, so that's hot. Okay. Yeah. Does work pretty good. So we'll try this when we're poking the new hole instead of cutting it, because we did cut into the wood some. We'll try this with the new hole when we do the other wing. That tightened up the edges really nice. tightened up the edges really, really nice, actually. I'm happy with that. As my friend Marty Matchbox would say, tighten up the edge, and that it looks ugly because that's how I cut it. But also, like I said, there's going to be a cover here, a plastic cover that covers, just like a clamshell cover that goes over the top of it to cover the push rod. All right, so now that that's in, we're gonna make sure all of our hinges are pointing up. It's a stiff one. I'm gonna loosen the screw in that. That's really stiff. Over tightened by the factory. Work it. Alright. We're going to do a dry run real quick. Make sure they're all facing up. Stick the wing back on. I don't like that there's a loose piece flopping around in there. There we go. How about them apples, huh? How about them apples? I'm happy with that. Alright, we're going to pause the video again for some movie magic. We're going to go get the epoxy. I'm going to skip ahead on the book real quick though, just to make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting. So, iron the things. Cut the pieces out for your servo hinges. CA the hinges into place. Repeat the set. Please note that CA glue must be applied to these holes before screw the control horn to the other, and if not, it comes off during flights. You may lose control of the airplane, resulting in an accident. I forgot to do that. Cut off shaded drill holes with a specific diameter. Applying to CA glue, super glue. Okay, that's right. I forgot to do that part. So we're going to take these screws back out. Take the screws out, and we're going to put just a drop in each screw hole, and then run the screws back in. This keeps any fuckery from happening. Whoops. And also is a good way to get your must have been some hardener left on there. There we go. Screws are in and they're glued down. Do it the right way. or you'll lose your airplane to a stupid mistake. Alright, pause the thing. Let's look for some epoxy. So here's what I use. This is really good stuff. West Systems epoxy. Don't need the brushes. Do need some sticks though. I'm gonna go get some sticks. Got some stirry-uppy sticks. Now, what I should do is go ahead and prep all of the wings and epoxy all the hinges at once. So, West Systems 105 epoxy resin, West Systems 205 fast hardener. And they come with these special pumps. It's 1 for 1. 1 pump to 1 pump. 2 pumps, do 2 pumps. Faster hardener formulated. Epoxy resin bonding, coating, and fabricating at cooler temperatures for a faster cure speed at room temperature. Minimum recommended temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Combined blah 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 blah. Container size for use with 170B resin. Is size for use with 105B. 105B resin. C resin container. Dispensing. Mixing. Stir resin harder together thoroughly at least 1 full minute before applying mixture epoxy, adding fillers or additives. Caution. Low temperature precautions. Clean up. So it doesn't tell you the actual time for the 105 to 205 minutes. Thicken easily with West System filler for bonding gaps. 105 and 205 mixtures, not minutes. Cured 105 is a tough stable base for 1-2 part marine. Cured 105 and 205 has excellent physical properties, making surfaces suitable for secondary structural bonding. Nice. It gives you get about 30 minutes of work time. Don't make big giant pots of it unless you're using all of it, because it kicks off really fast. So use smaller portions. I can do all of these hinges with 2 pumps of each, 2 pumps of this, 2 pumps of this, and I can do all of the hinges all in one shot. And then 30 minutes later, they're done. And that's what we're doing tonight. Just doing the wings. Pre-servo. Okay, so we don't have servos yet. That's another thing. I have to get some servos. Nope, not stealing them out of anything. Alright, so this one is done. Put this one off to the side. Call him ready. The other bottom wing now. Here's the other one. Separate the go. Cut this owl out. Oh wait, we said we were gonna do it with the thingy majigger. Let's do that. Do you have to cut the wood though? Ay, ay, ay. Let's try it. It's getting hot. This is the bottom. We'll do this one with the knife. Well, that's good. Preheated. Because it has to be cut. Bottom. Cut this side off. Don't like the way that came out. That came out pretty good, actually. It stinks like all hell, but it sure does. Make quick work of that. That came out really nice. I like that a lot better than doing it with the thing. It was a little wrinkly. I guess with an iron it'll be better. So our other hinge, just make sure that we get it right again. Fits down in there, and it's on the right side. Yeah, what is this? There's some glue. It's on the bottom edge. I don't like it. Okay, we'll take a little bit of CA. Glue the hinge on. Dab, 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 and dab. Push this bitch down. Place. Little kick. Pre-drill. Get our screws. I got this little screw gun at USTE, Ultimate Scale Truck Expo. Been awesome. Takes a charge. It's been like a month since I've charged this thing. Okay, that's screwed in. There's no hardener left on it this time. For dollop. And dollop. Oh boy, there has been hardener. It's thickening up as we speak. It's been an hour already. So we did all of that and this. Alright. Make sure our screws are facing all outboard of the wing. Hinges feel good. We'll go ahead and push this one back together just gently. Doesn't have to be in there like crazy. the other ones are going to be easier because we don't have to do any hinges on it. Well, we do have hinges, but not the servo mounts. Now it's telling us to install the servos on this wing. Installing the plastic cover. Alright, we got the servos going in, making the push rod, assembling the push rod with the servo horn, making or doing the cover. Then it moves us right along to the fuselage. Now, does it say anywhere to repeat these steps? Installing the aileron servos. Install the using a model knife, remove the covering from where the pre-cut servo arm exit hole. And the aileron servo tray hatch. This hole will allow the servo arm to pass through when installing the aileron push rods. Place the servo into the servo tray, set another servo within the tray, and drill pilot holes through the block of wood on each of the 4 mounting screws prior to the servo. Using a thread as a guide, using masking tape, tape the servo leads to the end of the thread, carefully pulling the thread out when you have pulled the servo lead out. Remove the masking tape. Place aileron servo tray hatch on the servo box and the ring. Drill pilot holes, screw the tray box in. Repeat steps 1 and 2. Repeat steps 2 and 5 to install the second aileron servo in the opposite wing half. Make certain the hinges are adequately secured with glue. If they come loose in flight, accidents may result. No, accidents will result. Ensure smooth and non-binding movement when assembling. Set all screws securely. If they come off during flight, you lose control of your aircraft. Must be purchased separately. Assemble left and right sides the same way. Cut off shaded portion. Pay close attention here. 90 degrees. Installing the ailerons linkage. Plastic cover, applying instant glue. Assemble left and right sides the same way. Okay. Then it moves us along to the fuselage and the landing gear. Fuselage and the landing gear. Front gear, 4 pages of front gear. Lower wings can be then bolted on. Upper wings. Now, the upper wing part. Upper wing part is poking a hole to put those through, screwing them into the thing, onto there, that onto that. Doesn't say anything about apply CA instant glue. Doesn't say shit about installing the hinges on the upper wings. They do go out. Don't say nothing about that. Gotta show you to do the CA there. Are the upper wings glued already? Wouldn't that be something, huh? Let's open one up. No, they're not glued. Of course they're not glued. Don't be a silly goose. slats are already in and threaded. So this is the upper wing. And they're not in there, but it doesn't say anything about. We've just got the push rods to put on, but we can screw those on after it's in there. Gotta put these on all four ailerons. But it doesn't say anything about gluing them on anywhere. Tail section, servos, push pull. Yeah, we'll do all that after we put landing gear on. DLE 61cc is what the book is saying to use, but we're not doing any DLE. Crap, I got a DLE 35. Great motor, sounds like a fucking weed whacker. And this plane is gonna sound like a real plane. Not a weed whacker. Battery for receiver, tape, foam pad around the batteries. Receiver, foam pad around the receiver. Not gonna do that. Electric motor install. Cockpit. Let's see where those guys go down. CG. Wiring of everything. Ugh. Exposed view and body count. So, doesn't say anything about that. It's an hour, 5% left. I'm gonna get the charger. So only the aileron servos. It says nothing about gluing the hinges on all of the wings. It says nothing about gluing the hinges. Obviously you have to. It tells you to do it, it shows you to do it with the rudder. But it doesn't show you to do it on these. So for now we're gonna put the book away. We're gonna open the other wing, we're gonna prep that, and then we're gonna mix some epoxy and epoxy all the hinges on the mains in one shot. So we'll stay tuned and we'll come back with that.